Alright everybody, welcome back to another episode of Overwatch Weekly. We are past BlizzCon now, everything is fine, everything's okay. We made it out alive. And this week was pretty chill, not a lot of stuff came out, which is to be expected. Post-BlizzCon, you're not going to get as much stuff after the big event. So we're just going to jump into everything. The first thing, which is actually something pretty big, we got a live server patch. Not only do we get a live server patch, we got Ashe on the PTR last week, and already she is on the live servers. We have patch 1.30.0.1, and it went live yesterday. So, obviously we have Ashe, is the big part of this update. You know, her primary weapon, the Viper, Coach Gun as one of her abilities, the Dynamite, and her ultimate B.O.B. She is not available to play as in competitive yet. She will be available in 2 weeks as she follows the pattern of the other new heroes. Let's go into the other hero updates. A general one is that they made jump height consistent across the hero roster, so that's something fun. For Mercy, her Valkyrie ultimate cost was reduced by 15% and her healing per second was increased from 50 to 60. With Reaper, his Hellfire shotguns had their spread randomization reduced by 50% and had the spread pattern adjusted. And then with the Reaping, his lifesteal was increased from 20% to 30% of damage dealt. Roadhog had a decent amount of changes for his chain hook. They decreased the delay before pulling a hooked target from 0.5 seconds to 0.3 seconds. The chain hook now greatly reduces the target's momentum upon being hooked, and the cooldown now begins immediately instead of after the target has been pulled. With the scrap gun, the spread pattern was adjusted for both primary and secondary fire, and the spread randomization was reduced by 50%. And with Whole Hog, the knockback maximum velocity was increased by 25% from 8 meters to 10 meters per second, while the horizontal recoil was decreased slightly. Then we have Symmetra, whose photon projector had its primary fire beam charge increased by 20%, so it charges up 20% faster. Then some other little updates for map updates. The setup timer for Assault, Escort, and Hybrid maps was reduced from 1 minute to 45 seconds, and the Assemble Your Team timer increased from 10 to 25 seconds in the second round of Assault, Hybrid, and Escort maps. And the Unlock All option in the Hero Gallery was removed. There were also some bug fixes, of course, but I normally don't talk about those, so if you want to check this out for yourself, the patch notes will be linked in the description and below. You can access the PC, PS4, and Xbox patch notes all in one little package down there. Next, we have a story from the Overwatch forums coming from our boy Jeff Goodman. And this is a thread called "What if Brigitte doesn't use her shield to bash?" And the post is basically, what if instead Brigitte shield bash is replaced with a body slam attack that functions every bit the same as shield bash? That way she'll have to drop the shield first to do the stun attack. And then they followed up with what this change does. It opens up room for counterplay. When Brigitte drops the shield, you know she can stun you, but if you are a Brigitte player, you don't necessarily have to go for that attack. Against Tracer, that means she might blink when she sees you drop the shield, but you just put up the shield again. This will make it a skill matchup based on prediction, mind game, and reaction. It also gives Brigitte a bit of vulnerability and risk to using her stun. Needless to say, one of the reasons Shield Bash is very powerful yet so hard to play against is because Brigitte is pretty much safe behind her shield against just about everything. Body Slam will require her to drop her shield and risk her safety for a powerful attack. And Jeff Goodman responded with, "We do have one Shield Bash change we are playtesting right now, which is likely to hit the next PTR. Shield Bash no longer going through barriers. This means it is a lot more tricky to land a clutch stun on an enemy Reinhardt, for example, but you can still use the ability to close distance and land melee hits to trigger Inspire." An interesting change, one that I personally wish wasn't a thing, but that's because I like to play Brigitte, and I know she's a very good hero, and I understand why people have issues with her, but she's definitely in a position that is kind of unfortunate, where she's going to get nerfed super hard, and eventually I think she's just going to become not viable if you just keep nerfing her, much like what happened with Mercy, where Mercy was deemed too good by Blizzard, and there were people who were complaining about Mercy so much that they just nerfed her like crazy to a point where then she became not even viable anymore as a healer. And that's what is going to most likely happen with Brigitte at this point in time, which stinks because I'm a support player and I hate seeing this stuff happen, where heroes just get nerfed like crazy to the point where they're not good anymore. It happens in a lot of games, but it really is unfortunate. But next, sorry I'm clicking a lot, I'm sure you can hear it. Next we have something cool. We have the next nerf Overwatch blaster was announced. This one is the McCree Peacekeeper. And the pre-orders for these blasters are up at at GameStop.com. So we know about 3 of them, of course, and that looks like there's only going to be those 3 of them. We have the Overwatch McCree blaster, which is $39.99. The D.Va blaster is $29.99, and then the Reaper one comes with, looks like 2 Hellfire shotguns, and a Reaper mask is $130, which is a little bit unfortunate, because the Reaper one was the one I was most excited for, but I don't know if I will be spending $130 to get that. But the D.Va blaster looks good, so I'll probably end up getting the D.Va blaster, and maybe McCree's pistol as well. But that is that for the blasters. It looks like there might be some like little mini Overwatch blasters, like one-shot blasters. The only thing is we don't actually have any prices for any of those. So I don't know. But if you go to GameStop, you'll see on the side there's like a generic Overwatch-looking blaster, then a D.Va blaster, and then like a Torbjorn blaster. Or I said that generic blaster. It actually might be Mercy's blaster. So we might be getting other stuff announced. We just haven't seen anything yet. But that is that for the nerf stuff. Next, we have this cool little video I'm just going to link to in the description, but it comes from the Overwatch YouTube channel. They put out a video showcasing a lot of the cosplay from BlizzCon. So if you want to check that out, it's in the description. Just thought I'd mention it because I think it's a pretty cool video. But finally, we're going to wrap this up with 3 stories that are connected, that are linked together, and it has to do with the Overwatch League and the new teams, or the expansion teams for the Overwatch League. And this past week, 3 of the teams revealed their branding. None of them revealed any stuff with their roster. I should say changes to their roster. One team had already made roster reveals, and they just so happened to also be the first team that revealed their branding this past week, and that team is the team representing Paris, France. The team name, and you will be seeing the logo and the skins here on the screen in a second, is the Paris Eternal. And I really like the look of this team. I like the logo. It's an infinity symbol. It's a rooster. The rooster represents Paris and France a lot. If you look at a lot of the history and kind of the iconography of locations in Paris, you see that rooster. So it makes sense. I think the colors are pretty nice. They are very French. The gold on the logo doesn't really translate to the skins at all, so I don't really know what kind of stuff we expect out of that gold, but you can see a little bit of gold on the Doomfist, but that's just Doomfist. There's really no gold anywhere else, but I like the name. I like the logo. I think it's a pretty good one. So yeah, Paris Eternal. Obviously, we've seen their roster, their entire roster. But if you want to check their socials out, they are linked in the description as well. Next, we had the team representing Guangzhou. Of course, Guangzhou being a city in China. And the Guangzhou team, we don't know anything about their roster except for the fact that the Philadelphia Fusion traded Hotba or transferred Hotba to Guangzhou. We don't know anything about the team. um, other than the name and the colors and the logo, all that stuff. But the team name is the Guangzhou Charge. I really like their skins, especially with Hanzo. I think that blue that you see on his knees, I really like that. You can see with Moira on some of the accents for her clothing, but not a lot. But like Hanzo's got it on his knee, on the edges of his clothing, right by the part of his chest that's bare. You can kind of see that color, that like electric-y blue. I really like it. I'm a big fan of their look, and their logo is interesting. It's pretty boring, but it's also got the lightning bolt in it, which is pretty cool. It's nothing crazy. Um, the text, like the Guangzhou Charge, like writing is cool, is fine, but the logo itself is pretty boring. Not gonna lie. Um, but it's whatever. It's whatever. Could be worse. But the final team that made an announcement, Paris and Guangzhou actually made an announcement on the same day, Eastern Time. But the next team to make an announcement made it several days later. They actually made it like 3 times. They made it, I guess, accidentally and then deleted it and then announced it again. But we have the team representing Chengdu. And the Chengdu team was one of the last teams to be announced in the as an expansion team. And the Chengdu team is the Chengdu Hunters. They have quite possibly my favorite logo, maybe only behind the Atlanta Reign logo of the expansion teams. Their skins are an interesting color. They're like an orangey yellow with black and gold accents. And if they did not have those gold accents, which gold is a very big part of their jersey color, or their skin color, if they did not have those gold on them, I really wouldn't like them. They remind me a lot of the Philadelphia Fusion, and I think they're better because of all the gold, but if they did not have those gold, I really would not like them. But I like the logo. I like the way the T looks. It looks kind of like a blade, because they're hunters. They have a panda, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I like the look of these expansion teams. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. There is a bug going on right now that I don't think will be removed by the time this video goes up, but there is a chance. But basically, the game fails to load. And just be aware of that. It looks like it's a software side, or it's a hardware side. So it's people have issues with their computer. They have specific programs or graphic cards, something like that. I couldn't really figure out what the problem was, but it looks like it's on the side of the people. There is some issue going on though, so if you don't know about it, I'll have a link to that in the description, some of the threads about it. But it's for the most part just an issue that shouldn't be too bad and probably will be resolved soon. So there's that. I also have linked to the Overwatch player tracker. They haven't updated it in over a week. But there's been moves since then, so I don't really know why they haven't updated it yet. For example, the New York Excelsior signed a player, and they haven't put that on here. So keep that in mind if you check it out. It is down there, but they haven't done anything with it. So I don't really know what's going on there, but that is everything that I have for you this week. If you are excited for Ashe, I mean, I played a decent amount of Ashe today, and I enjoy her. I think she's a fun hero. You saw some of the gameplay throughout this video, but yeah, this video off here. If you enjoyed, consider liking and subscribing. Helps out a ton. Comment down below what team you are most excited to see of the expansion teams in the second season of the Overwatch League. I'm hoping we will be able to talk about Washington, Vancouver, and Hangzhou soon. I have seen the logos for Washington and Hangzhou. They were leaked, so I know what their logos look like, but Vancouver has been a mystery. But I believe that those are the only three we haven't seen yet. So I'm excited to see what announcements come along with those. Potentially big roster announcements, all that kind of stuff. But we will get to there when we get to there. But yeah, I'm going to end this video off here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. See you later.